If it was money, I really wouldn't be in it still. Back better broad. It's really hard. Sometimes I really reach to the point where I want to give up. And I pray. Helped her to the point where she said she had to come because she had to actually help me up. And I was blown away. I'm getting to that stage now of maturity. Whoa!
Hi, welcome to our interview. Truth be told, this recording was meant to be used as a transcript and was never meant to see the light of day. However, we found that the passion, insight, and information contained in this recording couldn't be captured by the written word alone. With us today is Mrs. Michelle Yap-McKay, then owner and operator of Ital Blends. Michelle has since moved on to other ventures, but we believe the information contained within is still salient and transcends time and will be poignant to any would-be entrepreneur, whether those considering starting their journey or those who are already on their journey and would just like a little bit of motivation to continue. Once again, thank you for tuning in, and without further ado, we present our interview with Mrs. Michelle Yap-McKay, owner and operator of Ital Blends. How would you describe Mrs. Michelle Yap-McKay, owner of Ital Blends?
Oh Lord, that's so easy. Just look around you. I'm a nature girl. I love peace and quiet. I love the hills. I love the mountains. I love the sea. So I need people to buy a lot more Ital Blends so that I can actually go and find somewhere by the sea to buy. But yeah, pretty much earthy. I love Mother Nature. I love anything natural, and I love pets. I love that sort of thing. Not showy, dress up type, not the makeup, flaunt your hairstyle type. Just very easygoing.
Very okay. So is she?
Love to cook.
Love to cook. Oh yes. God.
Love to eat too.
Woman after my
yeah, I love to eat too. And I think that's how I got into this. My love of recipes and creating recipes, and that's exactly what I did with this. Created recipes for the brand.
Okay. How did it started exactly? I mean, is what we see here today, how you started?
Actually, no. While I was still employed to lithographic printers.
Oh.
And I'm not hiding it because they knew. They knew. I was a sales manager there for 15 years, and I got so tired of the corporate life and everyday dressing up and putting on heels and just I really got tired of that. And not only that, but I was pretty much up there on the hierarchy of achievements. I did the job thing, the salary thing was great, so I achieved all that, so it became about me. Right. What did I want? And that wasn't it. I didn't want to work for anybody for the rest of my life. Right. And really had a discussion with my herbalist one day, and we started talking about goat's milk and the benefits of it. And he planted a seed that I went home and I did some research, and I saw all these wonderful products, then mostly made in Europe though. And decided to give it a shot. And I said, well, I'm gonna surprise Joe with this, and I did some soaps, and I did them for family for Christmas one year. And I got great responses. I mean, when I say great, I mean really great feedback. And I said, boy, but this could be something, because I knew I was looking for something to do, but I didn't know what yet. Right. And then that became it. And I said, boy, I could really turn this into a business. A very, very good friend of the family, well, actually a very good friend of my husband, Mr. Budlal, he suggested doing it as a business, and that's where I said, boy, I really need to look at this carefully. I did, and that was in 2006.
Wow. Congrats, you're over a decade now. Wait, no.
Not yet,
sorry.
7 years old.
What's wrong with me? 7 years.
Seven officially. I started dallying in everything, or dabbling, in everything in 2006, making and then really mapping out the brand. I started in 2006. Officially launched the brand in 2007.
Okay, cool. It's been, of course, 7 years. Nice.
Yeah. And then when we bought the land here, or when I saw this place, I was like, wow, and it became such an inspiration for me that when the guys were building and doing their thing, I would just find a little quiet spot and sit down with my notebook and my pen and paper. And I mean, when I say it's like everything came, the names came, and I knew I wanted it to be typically Jamaican, so the names came. The company name came first. When I thought about just how we're going to map out the whole brand, I got the series, got the names, so just sat there one day and just all the names came to me. Season set, lively up yourself, pure niceness. And then I'm like, wow. And then now I had to create products to fit under those
brand
series.
What's it like operating a business in Jamaica?
Boy, you're back abroad. It's really hard. I really have had some serious low points because every time you go to workshops and you hear about export, now the local market is big but not big enough to sustain a business,
right?
And I mean, there is just a handful of persons that are naturalists and would really look to buy a natural line of products. So I'm not talking about the entire Jamaica, I'm talking about a small niche market in Jamaica. So of course, when you go to all the shows and you hear about what you have to go through to export and all the negatives that came with it, and everything that was involved in getting raw material itself was quite challenging. It became, I would say, a headache at one point, and I'm like, boy, I didn't come in it for this. I didn't want this. And of course, you get up, you dust yourself off, and I say, well, it goes with the territory. I'm here. What am I going to do about it? I can't really change much. Just plod along. And that's what I've been doing, and I don't make that bother me anymore at all. I really just get past it. When you need the supplies and you can't get it though, trust me, it's difficult because you better have a plan B.
Right, some contingency. Always have a contingency.
Always.
Okay. Has it made any difference that you're a female?
No, I don't find that. I don't find that at all. And maybe because I don't really act very female. I don't know. I mean, I fit in with everybody, and I don't even know if people notice that I'm a woman. I don't think so, to be quite honest with you. So, if I find that a problem, no.
I remember, because I do remember saying to you, you have this very commanding and matter of fact, Wendy had described it as matter of fact sort of thing about you in your voice. It came off, and I really expected somebody tall, and so when I gave us somebody like barely at my shoulders, I was like, okay.
Them a little bit taller.
Exactly.
That's right.
All right. Well, that is good that you're not facing any sort of discrimination, so to speak.
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, to be quite honest with you, a lot of people, when they see the brand, they are so proud that it's Jamaican, and that really was the basis behind all of this when I started. Having coming out of the print industry and really saw what was being represented as a Jamaica brand. I was like, boy, people can do better than this, you would try to encourage them, but they always just feel like, yes, I have my Rasta colors, I have my red, my green, and my gold, but it's done so tastefully,
right,
that it represents the line to me, and that very, very well. And that is what I mean, for me, Jamaica is my home. I love it with everything that's in me. I love where I live. Look at where I live. You know what I mean? I have the best of both worlds. The sea is right there. I can drive down in an hour and get to Lime Key. Right. Well, get to a boat to get to Lime Key. But I can see it from home. You know what I mean? Up here, very gentle people. I don't have the crime up here. As you notice, there were no burglar bars on the windows or anything like that. Right. And anyway, I'm straying away from the point. My point is I love Jamaica, and I really wanted to represent Jamaica very well. And believe me, it has gone to shows even overseas, and everybody is quite taken aback that all of this comes from Jamaica. Yeah,
I remember the first time I encountered your brand was a couple of years ago, maybe about 3 or 4 years ago, at Jamaica Business Development Corporation, via Things Jamaica, and they had one of your soaps, and I bought one, and what drew me to it, as you said, was just how
it looked.
I mean, it was world class by any measure. So, in that regard, kudos. Definitely, I was really drawn to it.
That was my aim, and I think I hit the nail on the head.
Yes, yeah, I really believe
it's getting challenging now, though, because the packaging cost, of course, is extremely high. But people have come to me, even in offering marketing advice, and said, "Boy, do not change your brand. Don't change the look," because people are saying, "Oh, you can make it cheaper, you can," and I refuse to.
Right.
I refuse to. I started this way, and I'm going to improve on it. I don't really. I'm not looking back at all. And the big thing for me is outside of the packaging, when they get to the product, it's also fabulous. So, I mean, I'm not saying that because I do it, but for me, I have very, high esteem. I hold people to integrity. I hold everything to a high measure.
Right.
And therefore, I hold myself highly accountable for my products, and I will not skimp, and I would rather say I don't have any, rather than try to do something that product just is not going to be world class.
Makes sense. No? Okay.
So it's hard, but I'm not changing it. I must succeed one day. As far as I'm concerned, the name is out there now. So whereas I might not be a success financially, I am a success personally in every other sense of the word, because almost everybody that you ask, especially people or women with skin problems, they will say, "Boy, Ital Blends."
Okay.
A lady on American Airlines called me, said a customer tell her face look horrible. She used Ital Blends, and she took my number. She said she came, she googled it, and she actually called me.
What?
And she says when she's landing, I need to get some materials at the airport. So that makes me very, very proud.
What is your typical day like?
It depends on what day of the week you're talking about. Because then I have my production days organized where soap making takes 2 days. Actually, it does take 3. 3, because when I make a lot of soap. And so we do 1 day for preparations. The next day we soap, and the next day we cut and pack them to dry, because they have to go on a rack to cure, and the curing process takes 4 weeks. And so, we have to put them to bed in a lovely little comfortable spot, and away from draft, away from moisture, and all of those things. So that takes 3 days. So when I'm making soap, everything planned around that. Lotions and stuff is easier. Everything else is easier, way easier. But the soaping process takes a very long time. So it's very hard to say I don't have a typical day. I really don't. I mean, there are days when there is no production, there is paperwork. And if you look on my desk now, you can't see it because it's full of paper. Therefore, I would rather sit outside in my hammock and talk to my parrot. So my paperwork is always, it's a bane in my side. I hate paperwork. Creative people don't like paperwork, and I really hate it. I don't like it. So it's like my arch nemesis. It's always following me. So I have to be disciplined, and I have to say, listen, come in the end of the month now, I need to get organized and sit down. And that day I will sit down till maybe 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, just because I want to finish and I don't want to face it the next day. So I'll sit down for an entire day, go through the night, don't sleep, just to get the paperwork and stuff out of the way. So it's that's, I think, one of the advantages of working for yourself. If you're disciplined, you'll get it done. And I'm not disciplined all the time. With paperwork.
Okay, fair enough. As we like you say, you're creative type, so I think it takes a lot out of it.
I'm looking for a balance. I need a balance. I need somebody to balance that side of me. I really do. I reach the point now where I'm older. It's about the joy in it for me and growing the brand, and I really do want to concentrate on product development and growing the brand, looking really now for export markets and stuff like that. So I don't want to spend my time bogged down with paperwork. So at this point, I mean, it's out there for me in the universe, and I'm asking God to just find that right person for me to actually love the business as much as I do. You know, and even if not as much, but close to,
Right.
that would be dedicated to the brand, and that can deal with probably the marketing and the business side of it, because that's my weak point.
Understood. So, what keeps you motivated?
My customers. Definitely. Definitely my customers. You go through a point, especially after your taxing period, when your accountant telling you, boy, things not really looking so good, you know. You're not doing this for love alone. Like, okay, I know. And when the serious sides of me chips in, and I really sit down and analyze the big picture, sometimes I really reach to the point where I want to give up. And I pray and I meditate on it, and I live in the perfect environment for that. And when I go, I will just go find somewhere quiet in the garden, day or night, and just sit and be still, and I get my answers usually by the following morning, to the point where I say, boy, I got you up fast, boy. Because indefinitely the following morning I will get a call from even one customer. And sometimes it's not necessarily a customer, but the person will become a customer that saw the brand. But every single solitary time I reach that low point in my life, I get that call. So now it's because I expect it. I go to God now with a different approach, and I say, okay, God, you're telling me that I need to continue. So I'm going to continue. What I need now for you to do is show me how. And by that, and me speaking freely to you about my weak points, I'm getting to that stage now of maturity. Whoa! Sorry, that just frightened the holy crap out of me.
I am no deaf. Because I said to the capture kind of tilted.
So, and I think it was me doing this too. Yeah, but anyway, the point is now, I think God has shown me enough for me to say, okay, Michelle, you got it, I got it, that I need to continue. So what I'm doing now is looking for ways to continue that is not stressing me out as much anymore. So right now, this year in 2014, I'm looking to find a partner to work with that can deal with the side that I described to you before, and just allow me to be the creative. And I think once I have that marriage, I can proceed kindly enough, I guess. So my motivation is really my customers. Every time I talk about stop, they're like, no. It really is helping a lot of people. It's not just the look. The product actually helps a lot of people with eczema. I have cases in Irish Town that Chantal and I are working with, because every sore person she see on the street, she call me, Miss Michelle, this person's skin don't look so good enough. And I like, okay, and then like I become their caretaker. So I bag up a whole lot of free samples and send for them and say, listen, get them to start using this, you know, get them to certain things, and then I'd understand their lifestyle. But tradition is something else, and you know, you can't get everybody to do exactly what you want. But from that, I've been getting so much success with people with very bad eczema. And so I really think that there is a larger purpose to this than just showcasing an aromatherapy line. You know, it's a larger purpose for me. That is my motivator.
Perhaps enhancing somebody's life.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. A girl from Montego Bay came here. She came here. She came here from Montego Bay by bus.
Oh, wow.
And by foot, because bus don't run all the way here. Because she said she had to meet me. She had a skin issue, very bad acne, to the point where she said she was embarrassed to walk out on the street. And I just decided to help her. She had no money. And I sent her products anyway, and I said, try these, and if they help you, you know, then we can work out something. And maybe that's why I'm not good with the business.
A big heart.
So it helped her to the point where she said she had to come because she had to actually hook me up. And I was blown away. Completely blown away.
Please remember to get a shot of her face.
Oh, yes.
Preferably with her smiling and laughing. I love those.
Do not take anymore. Seriously.
Last one with a smile. Ready?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Got it.
So trust me, my customers and the fact that it's helping people is my big motivator. If it was money, I really
Really
wouldn't
wouldn't.
be in it still.